Right now we have sitting with us Quentin Kringle, who is on the executive committee board with Saluting Community Heroes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about Saluting Community Heroes, how you get involved with this?
Sure. I attended Saluting Community Heroes last year, and actually I'm good friends with Shad Ketcher, and he's deeply involved in it. And as the event got closer, they had some challenges, as do startup organizations. Some things happening that needed to be addressed, and I happened to not be traveling, had some time on my hands. So I became the behind-the-scenes tech person and a lot of other things for that event, and realized that there were some things that I could contribute. And when I look at where my wife and I can put our time and money, we always like to put it someplace where it's kind of multiplied. Maybe it's something that only we could do for an organization. And what I saw in this startup organization that I cared deeply about was really a need for project management, roles, responsibilities, timelines, communication plans, deliverables, and that's what our software company thrives on.
And that's based right here in Hutch.
It is, yeah. Okay. So I proposed to the group that put that on that we would create an entity to help them more effectively manage events like that. That evolved. It started as a small idea that was more, okay, we could help in these ways, and I could have my staff help, and we could do things like this, to eventually, as my mentor got involved, we actually started a nonprofit and wrapped a shell around that so that we could be more effective at helping cause-based organizations, specifically helping veterans be more effective at achieving their goals. So this year I'm intricately involved in everything from managing the lists online to the processes, to the payments, to the tax information, to roles and responsibilities. Many hands make light work.
Exactly.
Creating you can have a lot of fun in a cause-based organization, or you can have a lot of stress, and we know the latter is going to be there, but we always strive for the former.
Very much so.
And actually this group has just been a lot of fun to work with. So, you know, I was impressed with Saluting Community Heroes when I attended the event, and I heard Ryan speak last year, the 9/11 survivor. I was invited to an organization up in Sauk Center that helps vets, and I sat down with 4 vets and spent about an hour with them. And these are the people that have defended our freedom. Yep. And they were all either PTSD or traumatic brain injury. They had all had chemical dependency problems. They had all been incarcerated. They had all been homeless. And they were putting life back together again. And it made it real to me, with family in the military, with hearing about it, but actually seeing it and seeing how focused they were on reclaiming their life. I wanted to be a part of that.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
We're here together today to talk mainly about an event that's going to be going on. If I'm not mistaken, it's on the 14th?
14th of November. Yeah, we have the speaker coming in, Alan Lynch. He's a Medal of Honor recipient from Vietnam War, and he's going to come speak about his experiences, and we're actually really excited about having him. I think it's going to be a great event. Great speaker. I met him, or Tim actually met him up at the Eagles Healing Nest at their event they did up there. And I know he's excited about coming here, and I guess we'll kind of see all the things he's going to talk about. I'm not really sure exactly everything.
That's all right.
He's a guest speaker, so we'll kind of see where he wants to go with it. I mean, we're having dinner. We're having the community strings are going to be there. We're having the Boy Scouts. They do kind of our little flag ceremony we do there. They'll be doing that. And we have a private cocktail hour for different levels of sponsorships and all of that that we'll have with Mr. Lynch, that they can, those individuals can, get their picture with them. And we had our first event last year was a really pretty neat event. It was I think a lot of people were overwhelmed by how positive it was, and for the first one ever was last year, and how well it turned out. So we're pretty excited this year to see what happens. Pete Hegseth from Fox and Friends is going to be basically emceeing the program, or running the program. So
Okay.
he's coming out. He is on the board for up at the Eagle's Nest, and he had volunteered. He'd love to support this event for raising money for veterans. So he's going to be emceeing the program. So we're excited about that also.
Sponsorships that you have open.
Yep. You know, the one thing that I think the more I get involved with this, and I'm not nearly at the level that Jim Lauer's at, but the more I get involved, or even Tim Burley's done a phenomenal job, working with the veterans out there. I mean, there really is a need out there that I don't think a lot of people realize.
Being the founder of the association, would you like to give us a little bit of information about it?
Sure. The history of it's probably started, I would say probably 10 years ago. I was a veteran myself. I was in from 85 to 90 and in the Army. Then I got out and then went to school and went to college and graduated and started in my career. And through that, I just had a real love for veterans and what the sacrifice and our country and everything they've given, to make our country free and to continue to keep it free. And so I, about 10 years ago, started doing just kind of an appreciation on Veterans Day, like a dinner, and just kind of anybody was invited was a veteran, their spouses, and we had guest speakers come in from all over the basically probably mainly Minnesota area. We have guest speakers come in, and it really started to take off. And probably our first event, and this was just as an appreciation is really what it was. Originally started out as appreciation to people, friends, and clients that I work with. And from there, I just said, a good friend of mine said, you should take this to a different level and really look at it in, raising money for veterans, and thought about it quite a bit. I said, it's probably a good idea. And so what we did is we had our first event, and we had a guest speaker come in, and then we said that what we're trying to accomplish with Saluting Community Heroes for this guest speaker who came in to help us raise money was, we want to really raise money for programs, kind of originally started out, we're looking at raising programs to keep it simple in local areas, and then from there the goal would be eventually to expand it, throughout Minnesota, and I guess just kind of see where it goes, from there, if it gets larger.
Jim,
Lisa.
how did you get involved in this?
Well, as the County Veteran Service Officer, my primary duty is charged with helping veterans and their families navigate the bureaucracy at the federal and the state level for a lot of the programs that are established for veterans and their families, whether it's health care, education, long-term care, those kinds of things. Additionally, I'm charged to be a liaison with all the veterans organizations and community organizations that want to assist veterans at the local level. And we find that at the federal and the state level, there's lots of gaps where people can fall through the cracks. They don't meet this requirement, they're not quite eligible for this, or here's a need that's really not covered by a state or federal program. And a lot of times at the grassroots level, the local organizations say, we can help with that, but they need an organization and they need resources. And resources come down to dollars and cents. Well, if you're not using federal or state dollars, which have strings attached, you've got to raise those funds locally.
Exactly.
So it enables the organizations to do that. So when Saluting Community Heroes became an option for possibly helping get those resources, it's only a natural that in my role that I would help support an organization that's supporting functions at the grassroots level. Good examples would be the fact that transportation for vets from rural areas to VA healthcare, transportation in general for a lot of people is a challenge. Emergency assistance is another one. And then one of the ones here at the local area that does take a lot of dollars and cents resources is long-term supportable housing with support services. There's a lot of people that don't need to be in an assisted living, don't need to be in long-term care, but probably shouldn't be living by themselves. And as a long-range goal of a lot of the organizations here in McLeod County, specifically the 12 veterans organizations that belong to the McLeod County Veterans Association, resources is the bottom line.
Exactly.
So this is an opportunity to, one, tap into those resources, but two, for the people out there that want to help, and you get inundated with calls and TV ads from all over the country, this is a place where you can be sure you're giving at a grassroots level to help the friends and neighbors living in your communities. And that's the community part of Saluting Community Heroes.
Tim, how did the American Legion get involved in this?
Well, Shad is an American Legion member, but beyond that, our members are forward-thinking veterans who are interested in serving other veterans. And for a while there, you get kind of trapped into, okay, we're doing this, and we're having this fundraiser here, or selling tickets here, and it's a lot of work for veterans to go out and do that. It's kind of out of our realm of feeling comfortable with it. And the point came down to, listen, we're going to need resources as we move forward to help the veterans in the community. We have our responsibility, as do all the veterans organizations, to our members and to veterans as a whole, not just in McLeod County, Meeker County. I mean, we have veterans. I always tell people I never served in the McLeod County Army. I served in the United States Army. Mm-hmm. So we look outside that proverbial box a little bit and say, how do we continue our mission, find the funding for our mission? And you are in the military, you have a lot of people who, as veterans, say thank you for your service. How can we help? And as a veteran, you say, well, thank you for recognizing that, and we often don't have a mechanism to say, how can you help? The Saluting Community Heroes is a door opener for all of our veterans organizations. The one thing I've really noticed about Saluting Community Heroes and why we've continued to stay active in it is it's formed a bond between the DAV, Mr. Lauer here, all these people as veterans in our community kind of coming together for the common cause of supporting veterans. Yes, we do other things in the community, the Americanism, those kind of things with students in school, but our first and foremost responsibility is for veterans rehabilitation and affairs.
We want to be able to, what I've kind of found over the years is, I think a lot of veterans programs have, and not only that, communities want to get involved to help veterans. What you see happening right now a lot of times is veterans are helping veterans, which I think is wonderful. Yeah. But there's a lot of people I know that are like, well, how can I help veterans? And they're not a veteran. Exactly. But they really want to get involved with that. So I think that's really where I think the absolute positive thing about Saluting Community Heroes is that it's really starting to get people in the community that want to help veterans in a way. And not only that, I think that, going to events where you can have a great time and you're building camaraderie, you're getting to meet other people, you're having fun, and, you're sitting down and I'll use, breaking bread and having dinner and visiting with people and just, networking and just getting to know a lot of other individuals that are out there to support vets. And, our goal is to have great speakers. We want to have individuals that, that support veterans or are veterans if they can, or however that fits into their world, have a love for veterans is probably a great way of saying it. So, and then from there, the goal is to raise dollars to give back to programs. Our goal is to give to programs that are sustainable programs that the veterans organizations can support, and they decide then how they want to help directly impact veterans. So whether it be like with Jim Lauer with the McLeod County Veterans Fund, or whether it be through like the American Legion and their endowment fund, that we'd give dollars to those entities, and then from there, those entities then will say, okay, we know these veterans directly need help, and Jim can probably speak greater to that, and then we help support his fund to help grow their funds to help support vets. So that's kind of the goal.
So you're reaching out to everybody beyond just the one particular organization.
Yeah, I think that, again, exactly. I think that the benefit, what I'm starting to really see and feel from it, is really the communities coming together. The communities are coming together. And people are really like, hey, this is kind of a cool idea. Let's grasp onto this. We want to come support it. We want to, meet the individuals that are involved with it and really help grow it. So, yeah.
Exactly. And all to help the vets.
Correct.
If you're free on the 14th, be there. If you're not free on the 14th, find out how you can help. Give us a call on the information that's going to be posted at the end and see how you can get involved yourself.